In the PTE core exam listening section, you are being marked on more than just your listening skills. For example, in Summarize a Spoken Text, you are also being marked on what you can write. Grammar, vocabulary, and spelling, because there is no spell check. Today, we'll look at the 3 most difficult areas in listening. So that's summarize a spoken text, listening, fill in the blanks, and highlight the incorrect word. So first, I'm going to explain summarize a spoken text. Now, summarize a spoken text, you are going to listen to an audio that is usually under 1 minute, so it's not very long. And then you'll have up to 8 minutes in total to write your written response. The most important thing here is that we are capturing the essential information, not unnecessary details. So you are going to really work hard on multitasking. We need to multitask by listening to the audio and write notes. You can write notes on the box on the screen. That is okay. Just make sure to write according to what you are hearing. You only have 20 to 30 words. This will be 1 to 2 sentences maximum. Very unlikely that you will get 3 sentences in just under 30 words. So 1 to 2 sentences capturing exactly what you heard. The most important tip here is that you are listening to the main details. Try to keep it simple. Main idea 1 and some type of connecting word like because, due to, or in order to. I recommend using short words, short transitional word like because, therefore. Every word counts. If you use long connecting phrases like in order to or in contrast, that's going to waste words. Keep it simple, keep it short, 30 words maximum. Main idea, transitional word or connecting word like because, second main idea, 2 sentences maximum. So let's practice on the screen. You are going to listen to a handful of different audios. Try to write down in 2 sentences or in 30 words exactly what you hear, capturing main ideas only. Let's go.
Canada is a country of the enormous natural resources, is the world's largest exporter of forest products, and a top exporter of fish, furs, and wheat. Minerals have played a key role in Canada's transformation into an urban industrial economy. Alberta, British Columbia, Quebec, Saskatchewan, they're the principal mining regions. Ontario and the Northwest, or NWT, and Yukon territories are also significant producers of uranium and potash, the 3rd largest of asbestos, gypsum, and nickel, and the 4th largest of zinc. Oil and gas are exploited in Alberta off the Atlantic coast. And in the Northwest, huge additional reserves are thought to exist in the high Arctic. Oil prices making extraction profitable at a growing number of the country's deposit. Canada is also one of the world's top hydroelectricity producers.
Is that the impact of the pandemic would be catastrophic if it is similar to what we had in 1918. In the United States, there has been unprecedented amount of preparation so far. It's affects every aspect of public health. We have efforts for treatment, efforts for better prevention, clinical management, key communications, the domestic and international responses, and also efforts to try to prevent transmission within community. The federal government has had tremendous amount of resources that they have put into development of the new antiviral drugs, antiviral drug stockpiles, development of new vaccines and manufacturing facilities for vaccines. So, there's quite a lot that's happening in the United States. However, developing countries do not have the level of resources found in more developed countries. That's the real challenge.
Today, poems remain an important part of art and culture. We often talk about the knowledge about the literature in poem. Poetry is probably the oldest form of literature and probably predates the origin of writing itself. The oldest written manuscripts we have are poems, mostly epic poems telling the stories of ancient mythology. The English language in poems and poetries is difficult to understand, often giving readers a feeling of frustration and making it hard for readers to enjoy poetry. This is because poems use literary expressions. Poetry was once written according to fairly strict rules of meter and rhyme, and each culture had its own rules. Some poems incorporate rhyme schemes with 2 or more lines that end in like-sounding words. We should learn to simply enjoy it and to know more about literature knowledge.
People forget things every day, including experiences, feelings, and thoughts, and we call this process biological forgetting. Remembering is hard for people, and people try to overcome biological forgetting. Humans' memory is not fixed, but it can be reconstructed and shaped by the past. From the ancestors, people have always been trying to improve our memory.
If you like the colorful animals we just saw, you're going to love these next animals. Frogs. You might not normally think of frogs as being colorful, but these frogs definitely are. They are the dart poison frogs of Central and South America. Look at their striking colors, often yellow with black stripes or deep blue with black spots. Beyond being nice to look at, these markings have a purpose. They warn predators that these frogs are poisonous. When threatened, these frogs secrete a substance through their skin that would easily kill whatever animal might try to eat them. Their bright colors communicate this, and so most animals tend not to hunt them. Now, speaking of hunting, for centuries these frogs were sought after by hunters. As you might think, the hunters didn't want to eat the frogs, but rather they captured them for their poison.
All right, I hope you did well on those. You can always pause the video, go back, check your answers a little bit longer, give yourself more time. Next, fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks is challenging because a lot of people aren't concentrated. Here, you really need to focus, concentrate on reading and writing at the same time. So here you're going to listen to a recording and then you will fill in the blanks as it is playing. You only get to listen to it one time. You will be tested on your spelling and your vocabulary. So it is really essential that you know these vocabulary words. Otherwise, it will be very challenging to write down words you don't know. Sometimes the PTE core exam will give you topical words related to the topic. Sometimes they are just everyday words, but they might be difficult to listen to because they sound like other words. For example, affect or effect. Now, I actually don't recommend that you look at the words ahead of time. I don't recommend that you try to anticipate what word will go there due to grammar. The reason for this is because we are subject to our own biases in our mind. So if you are thinking that the word appropriate would fit here, then your brain is going to listen for that word. Instead, I want you to not assume what word will happen and just listen to the audio, write it down as it happens. Now, the next tip I have for you is if you miss a word, continue on, skip it, and go to the next. Don't waste time thinking, what was it, because you will lose track and you will skip the next word. Therefore, you'll miss 2 points. So if you miss a word, don't get stuck, move on to the next one. Concentration is everything here. So let's go ahead. We're going to practice with a few examples. Fill in the blanks as you listen to the audio. Let's go.
Water is the fundamental ingredient for life on Earth. Looking at our Earth from space, with its vast and deep ocean, it appears as though there is an abundance of water for our use. However, only a small portion of Earth's water is accessible for our needs. How much fresh water exists and where it is stored affects us all. Nearly 2/3 of this fresh water is stored in the polar ice caps, snowpacks, and glaciers, making it inaccessible for long periods of time.
Civilization lasted for over 3,000 years and became one of the most powerful and iconic civilizations in history. its height, ancient Egypt's empire stretched as far north as modern-day Syria and as far south as today's Sudan. But long before it was an empire, ancient Egypt was a series of small, independent city-states that bloomed along North Africa's Nile River. The city-states were divided into two regions and named according to the flow of the Nile: Upper Egypt in the south, which was upstream, and Lower Egypt in the north, which was downstream.
Honeybees do a waggle dance to direct other bees to sources of nectar. But dancing bees like this one can be halted by a headbutt from another bee. Now researchers have found that this headbutt is actually a warning signal. A feeding station was set up in the lab to mimic a source of nectar. Then foraging bees were introduced to dangers at the station, such as competition from rival colonies. When foragers returned to the hive, they stopped bees dancing. Scientists think the behavior warns dancers of a dangerous source of nectar.
Alright, that wasn't so bad, was it? Fill in the blanks is alright. Our last one is highlight the incorrect word. Now, a lot of people lose marks here because they are not following the text as they are reading. Listening and reading at exactly the same time, you should also be very quick to highlight the word, because if you are wasting time on your mouse, you don't know where your mouse is, oh, the text has gone too quickly. So, get your mouse ready, hover it over the words, use your mouse to follow along on the screen. Soon as you hear something that is not exactly what you're reading, highlight. Your job is to click the wrong word. Be careful, don't guess, don't assume if this is grammatically correct. Just follow and listen to the audio. Stay calm here, no rushing ahead, just listen with the audio. We're going to practice here, follow along on my screen, and let's go.
Modern education systems focus heavily on critical thinking and problem solution skills. Many schools are reducing the amount of memorization and standardized examinations. Instead, students engage in group activities and complex research projects. Teachers are trained to support individual differences and foster creativity. Many companies are investing in artificial intelligence to stream their operations. Automation helps reduce errors, speed up processes, and lower human expenses. Employees are being retrained to work alongside new technologies effectively. Experts predict that businesses embracing AI will remain competitive in the future. Recent studies show that urban parks have a positive impact on mental health. Green spaces provide areas for exercise, social integration, and relaxation. Researchers found that spending just 15 minutes outside could boost energy levels. City planners are increasing efforts to remove more parks in crowded neighborhoods.
Well done. So those were the 3 most difficult areas for the PTE core listening section. If you feel that you did quite well, then you will do well during the exam. If that was challenging, go onto our channel. We have other videos to give you tips on what to listen for, how to listen for it during the PTE core exam. If you don't mind, give us a like and a subscribe so you can follow up to date with all of our other content. Thanks for watching our video. I'm Scott from HZad Education, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.